Okay everyone, so we'll get started. I'm Roshni Shukla and today I'm going to be showing you how to pipe buttercream flowers and to decorate a cake with them. I'm basically a home baker and I've been baking professionally for the last 5 years, and in the last 2 years of that time I have mainly been focusing on floral cakes and buttercream flowers. You're welcome to check out my work on my Facebook and Instagram pages. It is called Sugar and Flour Bakes Bangalore, or SNF Cakes. I'm sure you all saw the handle by now. I'm just holding it up for 2 seconds for whoever is joining in at the moment. So this is my handle, so you can follow and view my work on Facebook or Instagram on this handle. I also post a lot of piping tutorials and cake decorating tutorials on both my pages. So if you're interested in buttercream cakes and floral cakes, then please do check out my work. So this week the Academy of Pastry Arts took you through the fundamentals of baking. You can check out all the videos that have been posted on Instagram and Facebook. So they took you through baking your vanilla and chocolate sponges, and the various frostings, and covering your cake with whipped cream and ganache and things like that. So I'm culminating this week with a bit of cake decorating and some buttercream flour work. So I think we can begin now. So the buttercream recipe has already been shared in the stories by the Academy of Pastry Arts. It was shared yesterday. It's a very simple recipe and I'm just going to go over the ingredients and the recipe very quickly. I am not going to be making the recipe in front of you today, but I will just go over the process. So what you need is 250 grams of butter, 125 grams of icing sugar, and 60 ml of cream, any fresh cream, and 15 ml of liquid essence, any liquid essence. So the only thing to remember here is that you have to be very careful about the amount of liquid that you use in this buttercream, because any excess and it will completely change the structure of the buttercream, especially when you're dividing this recipe, say to half or a quarter or by a third. Then you have to be extremely careful. You can go up to 75 ml of cream if you want to add a little bit more of cream to this. That is okay, as long as the total amount of liquid that you put into this recipe is 75 ml. So it is basically 60 to 75 ml. So for example, if you're using vanilla bean to flavor your buttercream, since it doesn't add any extra liquid, you can use 75 ml, up to 75 ml of cream to add to this recipe instead of just 60 ml. Than your regular American buttercream, a lot less sweet. It is something that you have to get used to, and it has a very buttery taste. But the flowers come out looking really beautiful. They come out looking glossy, and it just makes your floral cake look even better. So the process for this recipe is like this. You take the icing sugar and then you dissolve it into the cream and the essence. So you mix the cream and essence and then you put the icing sugar into it and then you dissolve it to make sure you form a lump-free mixture. If you do find there are lumps, just warm the cream slightly and then you'll find that the sugar kind of melts easily into it. If you do heat up the cream for this, and I don't recommend heating it up more than like 10-15 seconds in the microwave. If you do heat it up or warm it up, please bring it back to room temperature and then add it to room temperature buttercream. Now you can use your stand mixer or hand mixer in this. I prefer to use the whisk attachment if I'm using a stand mixer. The reason for this is I like the way that it fluffs up the buttercream, and it happens a lot quicker than when you use the paddle attachment. So it makes the buttercream quite fluffy. And it also changes the color of the buttercream from like an a yellow buttery color to an ivory color. So I have not made it, but I'm just going to show you how it looks. So this is the buttercream that I've already made today. And this is the color, and this is the consistency that you're looking for. So do you see how glossy it is? It is not like your regular American buttercream. So that is the difference. Okay, so to store this buttercream, it will last maybe a day or two at room temperature. If you're keeping it in the fridge and you want to store it in the fridge, you can put it in an airtight container and you can keep it in the fridge for up to a week to 10 days. It lasts the longest if you freeze it. So, just again put it in an airtight container and then freeze it. And also I like to wrap it up with some aluminum foil or some cling and aluminum foil together, just to keep out the staleness, because sometimes when you keep things in the fridge and freezer, it tends to get that sort of a stale flavor. So to avoid that, put your buttercream into an airtight container and then wrap it around and then store it in the freezer. So moving on, the next thing that we're going to discuss is the color, how to color this buttercream. It is not easy to color this buttercream with gel colors because of the high fat content. It doesn't mix well with gel colors, which are a water-based color. So for this I use Candy Colors. So this is the brand I'm currently using. It's called Sugarin. Can everyone see it? Okay. So I think Wilton has Candy Colors, and there are quite a few brands that have Candy Colors. If you have to use gel colors, here is the process. It's a little long. So you take a little bit of the buttercream, and again let me just show you how much. So you take like a tiny bit of buttercream, put it in a microwave safe bowl, or if you're doing it over the gas, just put it in something that goes over the gas as well. Add a little of the gel cream, melt it completely until it turns liquid, and then you add a drop or two of the gel color, and then you mix it around. Okay, and then once that is mixed, again you have to put it in the fridge or the freezer until it cools down to a solid state. Once it does that, then you mix that color back into some extra buttercream. So you take some more white buttercream and then mix it up. So as you can see, this is a pretty long process. It's a waste of time. So that is why I don't recommend it. But if you want to try it out, this is something you can do, because most people I think tend to have only gel colors at home. So otherwise, if you have Candy Colors, you can just directly put a drop or two of Candy Colors and it just, mixes through. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about is the piping tips that I'm going to be using today. At this point, I'm going to turn the camera down towards my workstation, and from here on, the camera is only going to point downwards. We can just show you everything that we're going to use for today's session. So I just want to mention here that we're streaming live both on Instagram and Facebook, and I know you guys will have a lot of questions, but I don't want to lose my chain of thought, so I'm not going to answer the questions as they come. So I'm apologizing in advance for that, so please bear with me. I will take a few breaks in between to just see if I can scroll through a couple of the questions, and I will answer some of the relevant questions to my session today. If I miss something, or if I miss something even at the end of the session, because I will tackle all the questions at the end. If I miss something, you can leave me a message on my pages or on the Academy of Pastry Art pages under this video, because both of the videos will be also saved under these pages, and I will get back to you on them. So just give us a few minutes, and we're just going to turn the camera down now. Okay, so I think everyone can see that today these are the piping tips that I'm going to be using. I hope everyone can see all the piping tips. In total there are 7 piping tips, and I'm going to go over the piping tips in the order that I'm going to use them today. So the first one is a piping tip number 102, piping tip number 81. Okay. 81 has this little C shape. I'm just going to hold up the 102 as well. It's a rose petal tip. The third piping tip I'm going to use is another rose petal tip, which is a smaller tip. It's piping tip number 101. The next one is a grass tip. It's popularly known as grass tip, and the number is 233. That is the number of the piping tip. I'm also, telling you the piping tips because if you want to pipe along with me, then, you can just get these ready and we can pipe together. So the next one is piping tip number 0, piping tip number 1, and the leaf tip number 65. If you don't have this leaf tip, you can use any leaf tip that you have. It's, you don't have to be so particular about it. I just want to mention here that I'm using a mix of both Wilton and Korean piping tips. So my Korean piping tips I got from a company called GGK Craft. I think their pages are there both on Instagram and Facebook. They're a Korean based company. So my piping tips have been imported. They're not from here. And the thing is, the difference between the piping tips which are commonly available and the Korean piping tips is that the Korean piping tips are much thinner, especially at the tips, which therefore give you really thin petals and more natural looking flowers. So here is a difference, for example. So this is my Korean piping tip number 103. This is a regular piping tip I found with a set which I bought here. Can you, I think you can all see the difference, especially at the tip. It's much thinner. Yeah? Okay. It's the same with piping tip number 81. So the one on my, on this hand, this is the Korean piping tip and this is the regular one. And there is slight difference. I hope you can see it. Okay. So you don't have to be extremely particular about using Korean piping tips, especially if you don't do a lot of buttercream work or floral work. Then I would not recommend making such an investment, because the difference is, it is slight. It's not very noticeable. It is, it is there, but it's not like drastic. So, if you're happy working with your Wilton tips or Attico tips or whatever you find available, then I would recommend that you stick to those. However, if you want to do a lot of floral work and delicate floral work, then I do recommend investing in, a set like this, because it does make a bit of a difference when you do heavy floral work on cakes. Okay, the next thing. So these are the other piping tools that I use. I'll just quickly go over it. A flower nail, a large flower nail. Again, this is by the company. This is the one, GGK Craft. I don't know if you can see it. No? Yeah, okay, everyone can see, or it's mentioned on this as well. So this is a wooden block that just holds your flower nail. This is really useful, especially when you're piping flowers and say you have to adjust the bag in the middle and you have to rest your piping, your flower nail, and it already has a half pipe squares or wax paper squares. These are just baking paper, which any baking paper roll available in any store. So I've just cut them into large squares and smaller squares like this. Some piping bags, some couplers, and this little scissor that you get with most of your buttercream or piping tips. It usually comes with this because it's easier to handle smaller flowers with this, and you don't want to touch a lot of the flowers with your hand because they start to melt quite fast. So the next thing that we'll discuss is the filling of your piping bags when you're doing floral work. And this doesn't apply, I think, just to buttercream. In general, if you're using whipped cream or ganache and you're making flowers, I like to mix them up. So if we are making pink flowers, for example, I won't just put like a single shade of pink. I'll have 2 shades of pink and a bit of white. So white is always important to have, because white is the color that, when you pipe, it comes through in your petals here and there, and it looks like, when light shines off it, especially when you look at the flowers outside and how the sun or anything plays off it. So that is the kind of play you want to be visible on your flowers as you're piping them. So I've just kept an empty piping bag, which I've cut here at the tip. So because the first flowers that we're going to do, I'm going to use the pink color. So this is how I mix my colors, okay? So I'm going to take the lighter pink, mix it with a bit of darker pink, Then I'm going to take a little bit of white. This much is enough. And then I'm going to gently swirl this around here. Okay. You don't want to mix the whole thing and then lose the streaks of white. You want to see white through this whole thing. Can you all see that? The different shades of pink? Yeah. So that is how, and then you just fill this. So this is how your piping bag would look. I think you can see the swirl of colors here. So there's like streaks of white running. Even if you're making, say, 5 roses out of this, you don't want all the roses to look exactly alike, because that's how it is in nature. None of the flowers, I mean, not all flowers look exactly the same. So you want the same thing while you're piping your flowers as well. So that concludes the part about filling our piping bags, and now we'll come to the main event, which is piping of the flowers. So I'm going to start with piping a rose, and like I said, I'm going to use a rose petal tip. So here I'm using tip number 102. You can also use 104. You'll get slightly, because that is the most popular rose tip, but you'll just get slightly bigger flowers. Okay, so I'm going to just put this into, so I have a bag here with a coupler attached to it. I'm going to put this in, put my piping tip. Okay, before I begin, another important point: how do you hold your piping bag? So our tendency is to wrap our fingers around the piping bag and squeeze, which is okay. But the problem is that eventually the heat from your hand will start transferring into the piping bag, and it will completely ruin the structure of your buttercream. So maybe the first few flowers or 1 or 2 flowers will come out well, but after that it will start to get loose, the petals will not stay, so you'll face a lot of problems. So as you keep piping or practicing, try to keep your hand like this, where you use only the tips of your fingers to squeeze the bag or squeeze the piping bag. And yeah, even here, if you notice, there's a bit of a gap. I try not to let the inner part of my palm touch much of the piping bag. That way I can make this bit last longer without it sort of turning mushy. And then so because as you keep squeezing out, you'll also lose. So if you squeeze out this color and then put it back into the piping bag, you will lose that swirl that you made initially. So again, you have to add a bit of white, then a bit of pink, so it just makes a bigger mess. Okay, so before I start, I'll just go over a couple of questions if there are any important ones that I may have missed. Just a few seconds and then we'll get started.
Salted butter or unsalted butter?
Okay, I use unsalted butter because as it is, this buttercream is very low in sweetness, so you do not want to use salted butter at all. So it will affect the sweetness drastically. So definitely not. Anything else? Okay, I'm just going to get started. So I'm going to pipe a little bit of the buttercream here.
Which buttercream do you use?
Which buttercream? The same one. I don't use anything else. I use the recipe I shared with you all. Nothing else. Okay, so so for the rose, I'm going to make a little cone. Okay, and once I make this cone, I will then start piping petals out from in to out in odd numbers. You don't have to follow a particular number, but it just makes it easier if I like to follow this 3, 5, 7 kind of a system. So just a minute. Okay. So let me start. So that's a little cone that I've made here. So that's 3 petals. Now I'm going to make the next few petals at the seams of, that means this part where one petal overlaps the other. This line is what I'm going to cover with the next few petals. So sometimes you can stop at this point as well. This becomes like a rose bud, so you can stop here. You can decorate your cake with this as well. Or if you want to keep going, we'll add more layers. So one thing that I think you guys should observe is the way I'm holding my piping tip. The further down it is, that is away from the center, the more your petals will open up. Okay, and the closer you hold it here this way, the more inwards your petal will curl. So it's, it depends on the kind of look that you're going for. And you can see that the petals have little tears and breakages, but that is the look we want, because that is how it looks in nature as well. So this is basically how we want our flower to look. Can everyone see? I'm going to stop at this point because this is the size that I want for the cake I'm decorating today. Yeah? Okay, and this is how it is on the side. Okay, so I'm just going to put this away. The next flower that I'm going to be doing is called a cosmos flower. It's a flat flower, and I'm going to be using the same color and the same piping tip for this. Basically you need heart-shaped petals here. Whereas a heart has like one dip and a curve, this will have, I'll just do a zigzag motion to make little more ruffles at the tips of the petal. So once I do one, you'll understand what I'm saying. So it is tilted slightly upwards, like less than 45 degrees, because you want to pipe one petal below the previous petal. So every petal will be piped below. So there has to be a slight lift here. So I'm piping the next one. So as you pipe, you have to rotate your flower nail. This is the movement that you will mostly do with your flower nail in your hand. And most of the flowers will actually be piped in this way as well. So usually a cosmos flower will have about 6 petals. So that's why I've done 6 petals here. Again, you can do this with any of the rose petal tips and you'll just get different sized petals. That's it. Here it does require a few yellow bits in the center, the stamen. But I'm not going to do that right now. I will put that once I put this flower on the cake. The reason I do that is because when I take a flower from the freezer and then I'm putting it on the cake, I tend to press down in the center, and that damages the center part of it. So that is something that comes habitually to me. So that is why I prefer to fill the centers of any flower once I have put them on the cake, so that I get a much cleaner look than if I don't. Okay, so we are done with using our piping tip number 102. I'm going to change the piping tip to 81, and I'm also going to change the color. So I'm going to be using a purple color here. Again, you can see I have swirled white through this and different shades of purple. So there's a bit of lavender, a bit of dark purple, some white, some lavender going through. Yeah. So again, that will give you a different shade. So I'm going to be using this piping tip, tip number 81 here. It's the C-shaped tip. So first we'll do a chrysanthemum flower. It is a really simple flower, it's versatile and it's very pretty. You can do it in many colors, and the petals are piped in exactly the same way and they go from in to out. So I'm going to start with 4 small petals in the center. You see that? And I'm going to continue this process all the way around. So you just squeeze and pull. So you make it little thicker at the base, so, and then as you pull out, you let the pressure go. This is one of those flowers where you don't have to worry about the number of petals, the number of rows, nothing like that. It is super simple to do, and you just keep going round and round. You can make it as big as you want, as small as you like. So it's entirely up to you and how you want to do this. Again, here it's how you hold this piping tip. The closer or the more straight you hold it, the more closed or inwards the petal will be. The more you open your hand out like this, or move your piping tip away from the center, the more open these petals will be as well. So as I edge outwards, I'm going to open up a little more. So the tilt of my hand may not be so noticeable, but with each row I am moving my hand back just a little bit, like a very tiny bit. Okay. So once I pipe all these flowers, that is something I forgot to mention. Flowers have to be frozen. I like to freeze my buttercream flowers overnight at least, because I feel like once I do that, then the colors really deepen and darken, and it gets more sturdy. If you don't have that kind of time, then I recommend at least 30 minutes and no less than that, because if you're handling buttercream flowers, they do need to be quite solid before you put them on the cake. So I'm going to stop here. So like I said, if you want to make it larger, you can go all the way up to the edge, or you want to make it smaller, you can do that as well. But this is where I'm going to stop today. This is a chrysanthemum flower. I don't know if you can see the different shades, because there's a bit of white and purple through this flower in the petals. I don't think it's visible in the camera, but so this gives that look of the shades that I was telling you about. It gives a very mixed sort of a look, and that is what you want. So this is your chrysanthemum flower. I hope this was clear. So I'm going to use the same piping tip to do the next flower, and that's called a dahlia. Okay, so for the dahlia, we do pretty much the same thing, except that we go from out to in, and the petals here will be longer than the ones we did on a chrysanthemum. Also, we'll give this a base. Okay, so the base is something like this. This is a base. You give a base to flowers sometimes to give them some depth. So I will be, going from here to inwards, and as I keep going inwards, the petals, the size of the petals will keep reducing. So here I'm not holding my piping tip flat. I'm curving it a little inwards. It looks, probably in the video it looks like I'm holding it flat against this, but you have to curve this piping tip a little bit, you know, towards the opposite direction, away from you basically. And that is how you get these kind of petals. So that's layer number 1. The second layer, I'm just going to lift it up a little bit. And the petals will be a little smaller also. So don't stress about making every single petal look exactly the same, because it usually isn't like that. So you can just try different things and you will realize that. So this is one of those piping tips where, you know, if you curve your hand a little bit here or there, it changes the look of the petals entirely. So you get different looking flowers each time you just change the angle of your wrist. So it's a really fun little thing to experiment with. So I've again curved my hands inwards, and so you can see that they're smaller petals, and this is your dahlia flower. Again, another very versatile flower. It looks good in any color. Again, you can make it as big as you want, as small as you want. If you're making a bigger flower, just make a bigger base, and then, you know, start from there and keep working inwards until you get to the smallest part. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Okay. Any questions before I move on to the next piping tip? Okay. I'm just. It's tricky. I have tried it, but I can tell you that not all flowers come out well with white chocolate ganache. Some of them come out well, especially the flat ones. They actually come out really pretty. They're very sturdy as well. But things like roses or, you know, maybe a peony or something like that, they don't actually come out so well. So I've not had much luck with it. If someone tries it, please do let me know. I would love to see or learn from you guys. So, okay. So, I have covered some things more or less. So we are coming to our final 2 flowers, and here I'm going to be doing filler flowers. So what are filler flowers? I basically like to use filler flowers because they're tiny flowers that you can use for filling as well as for cake decorating. I mean, you can actually make a cake entirely of filler flowers as well, but they're very small flowers, so it will take you an eternity if you have to cover a large cake. But they're fun to do, extremely simple. And again, for this I'm using a small piping tip, the small rose petal piping tip, the tip number 101. This is a Wilton tip. This is not the Korean tip. The last 2 tips were Korean. Okay, but this is a Wilton tip, Wilton 101. So actually, let me just use a small one. Okay, so I'm going to be making a tiny flower, so that is why I'm using a tiny parchment. So this one is going to be a 4-petal flower, very simple. So you just squeeze a bit of bit of the buttercream and let go. Turn your flower nail 90 degrees. Squeeze let go. Turn once more 90 degrees. Squeeze, let go. Once more. That's it. So you keep doing this again and again and again, and you'll make a hydrangea flower as well. That is the technique for hydrangeas as well, and you can give it a base and then pipe these exact flowers on top of them. So now I'll just be putting a little yellow dot again in the center once I put it on the cake. The next one that I'm going to do is a 5-petal flower. These two I'll do it again. I know the technique for this is a bit it's a bit difficult to catch when I'm moving this way, but I'll just do it one more time. So this is a 5-petal flower. So again, I'm just squeezing it out and giving it a little, like a U-shaped, an upside down U. So you can make it 5, or okay, I'm going to go for 6. So basically you just keep squeezing out the buttercream here in a little bit of a U shape until you get a flower around. And then you put a little yellow dot or green dot or white dot or something like that, and you get tiny filler flowers. I'm just going to do that once again. The 4-petal flower. So I do 1, then turn 90 degrees, 2, 90 degrees, 3, 90 degrees, 4. So that's your tiny flower. So you can do this with any of the rose petal tips. It's just that you'll get bigger and bigger flowers. So they actually, if you do want to fill a cake with that, I would recommend using maybe a 104 or 105 to make these kind of flowers, and then you can decorate your entire cake with flowers like this as well. And I'm going to do the 5-petal one again. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this time I got 5 petals. But I think it looks fine in 6 as well, or 7, or how many numbers you want. So you can make the flower a little bigger and add a few petals. You can also give it a green base and add, petals to the edge. So there's a lot of things that you can do here. Again, here you can put a little center which is white or yellow. You can use sprinkles for these as well. So instead of piping the centers, using sprinkles is also a good idea. The last thing that I'm going to pipe here is, it's a bit unusual, but I like to finish my cakes off with little petals falling here and there. So it could be at the edges of the cake, it could be on the sides of the cake. So it just makes the cake look really pretty. And I do this in all the colors. So if I'm using like 3 colors here today, I'll be making these loose petals. So you just make loose petals, single petals like this. Okay. I'm just basically squeezing out a bit of the frosting from this piping tip, that's all. Once this is frozen, then I'll just use all of these, around the cake, on the sides or on the top here and there, just to fill some gaps in the middle. It just looks like, petals are falling off from your cake. So it just elevates the look of your cake. So that ends our flower piping work. I'm just going to set this. I'll just bring back this plate here just to show you everything we have piped today. So we have the rose, the cosmos, the chrysanthemum, the dahlia, the filler flowers, the 4-petal ones, and the 5-petal ones or 6-petal ones, and the loose petals. Okay, so these are the ones we are going to be using. Typically, like I said, this had to have frozen for at least 30 minutes. But since we don't have the time today, I'd already pre-made flowers in similar shades, not quite the same. But this is what will happen with buttercream flowers as well. You won't always get the exact shade that you're looking for all the time, because you're mixing through whites and other shades as well. So some may be darker, some may be lighter, and it's all fine. So I'm just going to get those out from the freezer just to show you how many I've done. So how do I store my buttercream flowers? This is a box which I have turned upside down. So the lid is in the bottom and the boxes on the top. So once I make buttercream flowers, I usually store them like this, and they can store for a very long time like this. So these are the buttercream flowers I've piped. As you can see, I have piped one of each flower in every shade. I hope you can see it clearly. So this is what we are going to be using to frost the cake, to decorate the cake today. I'm just going to stick this back into the freezer again because, okay, so that is the other thing. When you're handling buttercream flowers, try not to leave them out for a long time, even if you're, working on your workstation. They'll start to melt pretty quickly. Also, you're usually using your hands to touch them. So again, they will melt quickly. So it is better that you keep going back and forth between the fridge and your workstation, and put as many flowers as you can at a time. So that makes it easier. It keeps the flowers sturdy as well. So I'm just going to stick this into the freezer once again, and then I'll get the cake out. So any questions at this point before I start with cake decorating? How to remove them from the paper? Yes, I will just be covering that exactly. Yes, they do melt easily. Can buttercream flowers be placed on whipped cream cakes? No, it is, but it can be placed on ganache cakes easily. That's actually one of the most common things I do. Do we need to store the flowers in the fridge or freezer? Freezer preferably. How long is it okay to store them? I think I've already mentioned that. So yeah, it is definitely better to freeze them, not put them in the fridge. Because it definitely becomes a lot more sturdy than when you put it in the fridge, even if you're putting it overnight. Okay, cool. Okay, so someone's also asked if this will work with whipped cream flowers. No, they will not. Because especially if you're using, your frozen whipped cream, I have seen that they don't freeze and get solid. So they will not work like the buttercream flour does. So here is my cake for the day. It's a 1 kilo cake. It's about 6 inches wide. I've just decorated it with a bit of chocolate ganache. It's just a vanilla cake with chocolate ganache. So the side of the cake. So I like my cakes to have a very rustic look, because so I don't really bother with getting smooth edges or smooth sides and things like that. So this is what I've done. In fact, the side of my cake, I've just used a fork like this. I've used a fork and just scraped along the sides in a diagonal manner, and I've just gone all around the cake doing the same thing. So it's again a really simple design to do. I use the fork and do vertical lines, horizontal lines, so you can get really creative with that as well. Okay. So I'm going to do a wreath style cake here. So it's going to be like this. I'm just going to use a little toothpick to give it an outline of the wreath. So I'm going to leave, say, about 1/2 inch or 1 inch from the border, and then just make a little . Doesn't have to be an exact round, just this is completely okay. So I'm going to use the grass tip now. Usually everyone uses it to, a lot of people use it to pipe grass or hair, but I'm going to be using this to pipe little creepers or vines, and it'll go all around the cake. So this is the tip. Okay. So I'm going to go over this 3 or 4 times because I just want to give it a little bit of height as well. So this will come at the base of the flowers, so don't worry about how neat or anything they look like. Okay, I'm just going to go a little zigzag. Just give me a minute. I think my piping has a bit of a block. Yeah. Okay, so if your piping tip is not piping properly, please do check it out once in a while. So I think now they should come out a little better. Okay, so you get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. They're not as neat as I would like it to be, but the idea is that you just create little vines or creepers here. We don't want to cover the whole thing, so you can just put the flowers and little bits of it. If it is visible, it'll look really nice. Okay, this is the best I can do. I'm really I'm apologizing for a bit of the mess that I've created here, but we're going to be covering it with flowers soon. So I'm just bringing this out here, my tray of flowers. And I'm going to start placing the flowers. So I'm not placing it directly on top. It will have a sort of a zigzag, system. So don't place it straight up. I mean, some you can place straight up. Some, so I've leaned this one outwards. I'm going to lean this one inwards. Okay. So this one I'm putting straight up. Next we'll do our little cosmos flowers. Again, this you can just, so as you can see, I'm just peeling it off. It just comes off the paper once it's frozen. It doesn't really stick so much. See? There you go. Again, I'm slanting this a little this way and that way. You can put a little rose here as well. And maybe finish off with a dahlia. There you go. I think one of my flowers have been left behind. So you don't always end up using all the flowers also sometimes. So that also happens. So if that is the case, that's okay. I mean, that is just a part of the process. You end up making extra flowers just to be on the safer side. Now, I'm also going to put the filler flowers because after that, then I'll start doing the leaves and things like that. So I'm taking these 5 petal flowers and I'm just placing it in random bits. So for the center also there are 2 options. You can either leave it blank in the center. You can, if there's a birthday message or any other message or whatever occasion you're doing the cake for, if you want to sort of use that place to write something, then do that. And if you are doing that, then write your message first and then make the wreath because that way it will be cleaner. I'm also going to put a few of these around the cake. So this is where the filler flowers will come handy. So I'm just filling tiny gaps here and there. I will also put, one here. And some empty spaces around the border. So I think, sometimes less is more. You don't have to actually clutter up your cake and fill everything that you have. And even if you've piped a lot of extra flowers, and you will have to pipe extra flowers, the reason for this is because there will be breakage. So you will have to anticipate the breakage, and you will have to fill, make extra flowers, because your hand could hit something or tool could hit something, so eventually there will be some breakage or the other. So keeping that in mind, you have to make extra flowers, and it's okay if you don't use them. Okay, now we'll pipe some leaves. So this is not the regular leaf tip, and I like it more than the other tips because it just gives a better looking flower. So this is the kind of flower I'm going to be doing here. So I'm just going to do a zigzag motion like this. Okay. So as you can see in this also, I have mixed white through green as well, just to give it different shades. Again, it's to make leaves also look very different. So you need white when you mix it through any of the flowers or anything that you're doing with buttercream flower work. As a default, just mix white anyway. So I'm just going to go around and fill flowers everywhere. The tendency is, as you keep piping one of these, you just tend to go crazy and sort of pipe them all around everywhere, and then you realize once you're done that it was way too much. So less is more again. So you need to pipe a few inwards as well. That's what I'm doing here, and I'm just going to touch the tips here and there, make tiny leaves. So it should also look like leaves have fallen out from your arrangement, right? Like the little petals that I made, you can do the same thing with your leaves as well. So it should just look like it's fallen off. Along with this, I'm going to make, so I feel like the center looks a bit bare. It needs a bit something. So I'm just going to add a few more creepers here, but in green color in between these, okay? So once you make these creepers, again, use your leaf tip. Just make tiny flowers here, very tiny. So you don't squeeze the piping bag as hard, you squeeze it as gently as possible, and that's how you get very tiny leaves out of this. So if you squeeze just super gently, you get small flowers. I'm also just going to, so you can add a few vines here and there as well. So if you find there are empty spaces around, you can just add a few here. Okay, and you can fill these with leaves as well. And so I'm just quickly going to fill the centers here. So all you need to do is pipe little dots. Here also, you pipe some dots. You can fill the same thing here. Tiny yellow dots. just going to finally put a few more of these here. And we'll finish off with these petals that I made. You remember the loose petals? So that is exactly where they come in handy now. So I'm just going to put little bits of petals like they're falling here and there. You can just drop them at random places. It doesn't have to be in any particular order or in any particular way. It's just to sort of elevate the look of your cake, make it a little more prettier, more natural looking. So I think we can stop there. It looks simple, it looks pretty. If you want, so I have a few sprinkles here, which is like this. If you really want to fill any gaps, you can just, sort of drop little sprinkles as well in the center and other places. So I have made sure that the sprinkles are exactly the color of the flowers I've used here. So I have actually just taken out some specific color of sprinkles and I'm using only that. So that's that. And that is your buttercream flower cake. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly go over the questions. I know I have exceeded the time here and I'm extremely sorry about that. I don't know if the second session I started on Instagram is coming through or not. This is on Insta?
That's Facebook.
Okay, we are on Facebook. So let's see. The recipe for buttercream. I've already given that. Which buttercream do you use? Already covered all that. And how do you transport or keep it out without the flowers melting? So keep it in a cool, dry place away from the sunlight. Try not to, keep it in a hot room. Keep the AC on if it's a really hot weather. Otherwise, at least in our Bangalore-like weather, at this time, it lasts really well. This is not plastic scissors. These scissors that I used are actually for floral work only that you get. So I'm not sure what they're called, but I can get back to you about it. What else? Okay. I'm really sorry again about the video ending. So I hope I have covered all the questions. If I have not, and if I've missed something, like I've mentioned before, please reach me on my pages, either on Facebook or on Instagram. It's called Sugar and Flour Bakes Bangalore or SNF Cakes. I would like to thank the Academy of Pastry Arts for giving me this platform and this amazing opportunity to share my work and my knowledge with you guys. I really had a wonderful time doing this and I hope you enjoyed my session as well. So thank you all for watching and have a wonderful weekend.